Happened in the 90s.
Another day, another hope.
Is it pizza?
Another sandwich.
Oh. Wouldn't be pizza, would it? Oh. Pizza would be really good. Ooh.
We got the hint. Presenting Lunchables Pizza. 3 real crusts with all the toppings. Fun to make and eat. No need to heat.
Pizza? Thanks, Mom.
Lunchables brand pizza from Oscar Mayer.
Is it pizza?
Lunch will never be the same.
It's a lot. I'm just struggling, Steve. When I get down at night and I have time to fucking watch shit, it's either a cooking competition, which now it's just getting sad, or a couple of YouTube videos. Shout out Taste Buds. I love that show on YouTube. I love watching people fall down. I love fail videos. But at the end of the day, Bel Air is really just the only show that's left for me. All the Marvel shows are done for right now. I got nothing. I can't get into Euphoria. It makes me uncomfortable to watch. So other Peacemaker's done. So
I keep hearing about Euphoria.
I mean, I'll say this. I've watched a lot of it and it gets you in. But at the end of the day, you're watching high school kids fucking do drugs. And what they're showing you is just it's intense. I mean, if it's somebody not like ODing, Zendaya is just blowing rails and fucking going off and being like a drug addict and shit. There's trans people, fucking dads. I mean, there's just it's like Bromfield but high school in LA. So
it sounds like if Kids was a TV series.
There you go. I mean, that's a great. Yeah. It's just as fucked up too. I mean, the Kids. I don't know if you can ever. Gummo was as fucked up, but Gummo was kids in rednecks, basically.
Yeah, that was the same guy who was in Kids. I can't call his name, but he had a really weird interview on David Letterman.
Harmony Korine.
Harmony Korine. Yeah.
He has a lot of weird interviews. I think he was one of who is the other guy from Back to the Future that David Letterman liked to have on?
Crispin Glover.
Yeah, that motherfucker too. But yeah, how do you before this is be our opening, how do you sell Gummo to somebody that's never seen it? Like, what's the tagline for Gummo to you? Like, because you're an expert, you've seen it 1,000 times.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but for Gummo, I would say surreal life in small town Ohio or small town Midwest.
I mean, that's even because when you watch it, I feel like if you sell that way and somebody watches it, they're going to be like, you fucked my head up making me watch this shit. It's one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen.
I fucked my own head up watching that shit too many times. But life in the Midwest, especially small town Midwest, is surreal. Like, think about some of those people we went to college with in Bromfield. Like, if you follow them home to like their hometown, I mean, they were weird on campus in Bowling Green. So like, imagine them being around like their stomping grounds. There's a lot more where that came from as far as weird.
I fucking hate rabbits. Fucking hate them.
I'm sure that's Dude Matt. And remember our neighbors, it was like Seth and some other Seth and Tyson. They were all right. They were cool, but they were weird. And from small town Ohio.
Man, that was just we talked about it. Me and Jordan would talk about it all the time, just like writing a show about making a show Bromfield, because it would be Euphoria in a dorm room. And I mean, I know there's everybody that went to college and lives in the dorms probably shared this, especially people that were like us, probably not academically inclined as much as socially inclined, but goddamn, I feel like we had some time, Steve.
Bromfield, that project has to happen, man.
I mean, it's there. I mean, all you have to do is literally take your memories, write them on a piece of paper, and be like, here it is. This is the show. And I guarantee you somebody wants to watch that shit. I mean, if nothing else, for just the weed adventures that we got on, just to think of all those crazy nightly adventures we get on, just to have a little bit of fun with some weed. Steve, go to Myers, you have a little fun. Go to that weird spot behind that billboard next to I-75. All the little
Somebody will be
toke
on
sessions.
LSD.
Oh yeah.
Somebody will be on shrooms. Somebody will be on fucking computer duster.
I mean, fuck it. It was just a
But
party, and it was
that's-
we had an A in life. We just were not. I wasn't earning a lot of A's in school, but man, goddamn, you're right, Jordan. If you're listening to this, and I know you're not, but if you are, call me, and we're just gonna think of 5 memories, write them down, and that's the pilot episode.
I mean, it was a lot to grab at. I mean, just off the top, man, I got a full season of that show.
We're alive. I mean, the fact that we're alive, Steve, and we haven't been incarcerated. We weren't incarcerated. We never there was no real negative.
We thought we were.
Yeah, I mean, almost. But thanks for the shark. I appreciate it. Shout out to the shark. If you're still alive, you probably got killed on a drug overdose. Our lawyer.
I think his name was Larry. Was it Larry something?
Larry or something. I don't want to say it's Larry Clark, but I just remember we called him the Shark, and that's
Clark the Shark.
So
yeah.
God damn, Steve. I mean, I'm almost jazzed to write that tonight. I might have to do my shit tonight, and then write the first episode of Bromfield and just say fuck it. It would be as wild as some of the shit we watched for this episode, mainly the Married with Children, which is, I mean,
yeah, it's very Peggy, and first time talking about news radio.
And I feel like it's an interesting one. It's very Joe Rogan centric too, and I think like some of the stuff we see in this, it's kind of funny when you know where he became. It's like art imitating life almost, you know?
Right. The fact that they're downplaying his broadcasting ability, and it's like, oh, you don't know, you just don't know.
What time traveler wrote news radio, Steve?
Okay, pulp quiz. Butch bags the fight, grabs a cab, and calls it a day. So, what did director Quentin Tarantino think of this scene? You won't know until you see the bonus scenes that follow the movie in the special collector's edition of Pulp Fiction. Buy it today.
Well, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your Go-Gurts and posters of Sarah Michelle Gellar, because it's happened in the 90s, happened in the 90s, happened in the 90s. I don't feel like rhyming today. We're talking about all things March 10th in the 90s.
And it's a spicy March 10th, Steve. We picked 2 episodes, and I feel like there was a lot of sex. There was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of Joe Rogan. I mean, there was just a lot of excitement in this for me. So I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are.
March 10th in the 90s, it had its ups and downs.
I heard some things.
Starting with 1995, Outbreak premieres in theaters. Army doctors struggle to find a cure for a deadly virus spreading throughout a California town that was brought to America by an African monkey. It always comes from Africa. Starring Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, Morgan Freeman, Donald Sutherland, Cuba Gooding Jr., Patrick Dempsey, and Kevin Spacey.
It's a good movie, Steve. It is a good movie. The deadly Motaba virus was just killing them back in the 90s. I remember this movie scaring the fuck out of me.
Yeah, and didn't somebody get bit? A couple of people got bitten by monkeys on this.
Oh, I mean, it was the 90s. They were concerned with like actors' health. They were like, yeah, fuck it. We'll just throw you out. We're going to shoot this in a jungle for no reason. And hey, if you get bit by a fucking monkey, sorry about it. Use that SAG fucking AFTRA insurance and, suck it up, Dustin.
And what was the name of the disease?
It was the deadly Motaba virus or Mutaba, something like that. I don't know if you remember, but Clerks had an animated series for a very short time. And there was an episode where they lampooned this, where Jay had an old gas station burrito that made everybody sick, and they thought it was the deadly Motaba virus. So shout out to Kevin Smith, too. Another hero of the 90s.
Well, nowadays we just call it coronavirus. You know who probably didn't watch Outbreak in 1995, March 10th?
Who's that?
Probably Zach Levine, American basketball player, born in Renton, Washington. He's a two-time NBA All-Star, All-Rookie Second Team, two-time Slam Dunk champion, Pac-12 All-Freshman Team, and Player of the Year in 2013. He is responsible, they say, for bringing back the interest in the dunk contest because everything has been done, or so we thought. And around 2015 and 2016 in the All-Star weekend, him and Aaron Gordon, they had a showdown both years.
Okay.
And both times that Zach Levine won. Now, the second time, everybody thought Aaron Gordon got cheated because, I mean, they both did their thing, but Aaron Gordon, he went off that year, and he definitely got cheated. But Zach Levine, he's coming to his own, not just a dunker, but he's an all-star, and he's on a very good team, the Chicago Bulls, man. No relation to Adam, though, I don't think. The brother does look mixed, so I don't know. Maybe he is.
Shout out Zach Levine. Okay. When was Nate Robinson killing it in the dunk contest? Was this? That had to be prior to this, obviously.
Yeah, this was 20. Because Nate Robinson won twice, I believe, in the late 2000s and early 2010s before Zach Levine.
We need a Spud Webb, Nate Robinson. That's where the excitement comes from me now. I want to see a guy who shouldn't be able to dunk just straight. Because Nate Robinson is like, he's shorter than me, I think. Or maybe I'm just thinking that because he's a basketball player next to 7 feet. But it's like, man, I've never been able to dunk, Steve. I don't know if you've been able to dunk in your life, but I'm 6'3". And I got close once when I was in my best shape. I could get to the rim, but yeah, I never had it in me. So, I like to see a short guy do it, or just see something like Vinsanity shit where he's, he can almost like he could jump through and put his feet through the fucking hoop if he wanted to. He can jump so goddamn high. So we'll get there. We'll get that mix of steroids and athleticism. It'll get there soon.
Oh, we're getting there because Ja Morant, he's a current player for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's doing ridiculous things on the court, man. He's dunking on 7-footers. He's shorter than both you and me. I believe he's either 6 foot or shorter. And just last week, man, he had a game where a guy threw him a Grant Hill lob across the court, and as the buzzer beats, he's going out of bounds, catches the pass.
I saw that shit. I did see that. I didn't know who that was, though. That's dope. Hell yeah.
He is the future of the league for sure, man.
Steve, you need to get me like caught up on basketball because I want to be into it again. And
it's YouTube.
I know, but I like to discuss. I don't want to like study it. I want somebody to like cram it into, this is like high school, Steve. I need somebody to just tell me the answers, tell me who to like. Because I bought this just because it had Raphael on it, but I'm not going to I don't like Philly teams.
It's a dope shirt, though. Philly's good this year.
Who did they just get? Didn't they just get Harden?
They got Harden, and Joel Embiid. He's like probably the best big, if not, or one of the best.
How'd they get Harden? Who'd they give up to get him?
They got rid of Ben Simmons and Steph Curry's brother.
Don't people hate Ben Simmons? Isn't he kind of like an underachiever, like sort of an asshole or something? I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading that.
Well, he's an all-star, but the fans of Philadelphia hate him because he choked in the playoffs last year.
Okay.
Trae Young.
Throws. He couldn't make free throws. Was that it?
He didn't make free throws, and he was right underneath the rim like late in the game, and he passes it to another guy.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have that Mamba mentality. R.I.P. Kobe. But March 10th, 1996, News Radio is airing season 2, Houses of the Holy. When Catherine is out sick, Bill puts Joe on the air in her place, expecting him to do badly. At the same time, Beth is inexplicably fascinated by Mr. James' weird, nerdy nephew. And who plays his nephew?
David Cross. One of my favorites, Steve. David Cross. You don't realize how much he's been in like comedy, basically our whole lives almost.
He's been around for a while.
And this one, there's a lot of people in this, Steve, that are famous in some way. And some of them, I don't know their real names. So I'm going to tell their character names. And if you do know them, we can discuss that. But this show has a lot of fucking stars. I actually know a lot about this show because I used to be a huge fan of Joe Rogan, and he talks about being on this show quite a bit. And so I do know some behind the scenes dirt that I'll dish while we're talking about this. But Mr. James is the boss of this radio station. And we are introduced to him. He comes into Dave's office, played by Dave Foley of Kids in the Hall. And he's telling Dave that who he refers to as his weird nephew, Theo, is coming into town. And Dave needs to kind of help him out because he's kind of down. He's made some bad career decisions. He's just kind of a weirdo and he's just kind of down in the dumps. So Dave needs to help him find a job and maybe just help him, cheer up a little bit.
But he is weird.
He is definitely weird. And there's one part of his talent. He has a talent as a magician that we later find out. And I got to say, I hate close-up magic. I hate magicians. I hate watching it. And if I met Theo in real life, I would run as far as I could because I hate watching magic. I'm sorry. I hate it.
I mean, he wouldn't even get to do the magic. It's just the sight of David Cross.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God he's funny. I'm not even talking about his character, David Cross, the person. If I just saw him and he wasn't like a world famous comedian, I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably not a person I want to fuck with.
Was he bald? I mean, did he come out bald? Because to me, he's always been bald. He's just got this giant bald head. Hey, David Cross, if you're watching this, and I hope you're not, I love you. You're a genius. You're funny as fuck. We both do, but you're not a looker, and neither am I.
Some of the funniest comedians are not. I think that's why they resorted to telling jokes. They're so used to having them told on them growing up. So,
but Theo,
it's not hard for him.
Yeah, and Theo, I guess he shows up, and it is David Cross. He's got a bald head. He's got Coke bottle glasses. He's just kind of a nerdy looking dude, And apparently, he also has this very morose, like down in the dumps. He's just like, oh man, like, hey guys, and he just seems sort of like a downer. And I guess one of his jobs was he was a motivational speaker, so that was never going to work. But he was also a magician, and he walks in, and he's just there. But then Andy Dick walks in, and Andy Dick famously mess. And in the show, his name is Matthew, which I really don't appreciate.
Well, yeah, one of these days we'll cover an episode where a Matthew is not a douche. We covered the Jerry Seinfeld. It's never gonna
happen, Steve. It's just a douche. It's just it's a common name. It's just an easy throwaway. And I, as a good Matthew or somebody I'd like to think puts some good stank on the name. I don't appreciate Andy Dick having this as a character.
I don't appreciate it.
And something that the characters in the show don't appreciate when Matthew walks in is he's trying to hawk this herbal tea on everybody. And this herbal tea is just apparently everyone says it smells like piss.
Yeah.
It might be piss, knowing Andy Dick. Who knows?
But no one wants his PPT. And Jimmy, once again, he shut the door on Beth before. Like, nobody cares what you're talking about. He shuts the door on her. So when Matthew comes in with his tea, Beth tries to resume the conversation. Like, we still don't give a fuck. So Jimmy, this is when Jimmy tells Dave about his nebbish nephew, and he's basically made some bad career moves, and he wants Dave to possibly get his foot in the door in the radio industry. And Dave's just like, shoot me his number. And as he opens the door, Theo, the nephew, is standing right there, and he's like, it's in the book. Yeah.
So Matthew comes in, he's got his little tray of piss. And he's trying to hawk it on everybody. I think he leaves for a second, comes back, and he's like, I used to be a waiter. And he tries to do all this like waiter shit. And then you see what happens behind Steve's head. It turns into a piss fest. Andy Dick gets a golden shower, and it's probably something he's very used to.
He spilled the tea.
Are you having a laugh?
So we cut. That's when the news radio. Yeah, we cut to the intro. And then we get back, and Dave comes in to the break room with Catherine, and Dave comes into the break room with Lisa, and I guess Dave and Lisa are on and off again, but one of the other employees, Catherine, who's an on-air talent, called in sick, and they need somebody to fill a spot because she's very integral to this radio station. Lisa wants to fill the spot. Matthew also wants to fill the spot. And Dave's trying to sort of figure this out. He's trying to give somebody this job, but he's sort of he's just, he can't come to a decision. Everybody's got an opinion. He's trying to be fair about it because that's kind of the guy he is in the show. But he just can't figure it out. So you know, she's just like, I think they've dated at this point. I don't know where we're at in the show, but they're sort of the Jim and Pam of this show, where you were wondering whether
Yeah.
they're going to hook up or not. And I think they have at this point. And I think he's trying to give her the job, but he's trying to like make it seem like he's considering everybody fairly. You know what I'm saying?
He wants to make a fair assessment, and he's even asking Matthew and Beth, like, what do they think? Should I pick this person? Should I pick Lisa? And everybody basically wants it for themselves. He even asked Bill, Phil Hartman's character. He's like, I should do it.
Yeah. Well, Bill's like, he says, who do you want to do it? Because Bill is actually like the on-air talent, and Catherine's sort of the news person. So they have to work together. And Bill's like, I'll just do it myself. And Dave's like, no, you can't do that. That's way too much. So we got to figure out somebody. And at that point, it's just sort of, we cut away from that. And Theo, David Cross, is creeping on, what's the redhead's name?
Beth.
He's a creep. And he's also a magician. So the way he's trying to seduce her is with magic. And I got to say, as somebody who hates magic, is not respectful of magicians, the motherfucker is killing it. He pulls a dove out of his ass, or he's doing it all. He's pulling out all the stops. And what
like her interest is peaked. Like, unlike you, like she wants to know, like, to show me a trick. So he basically asked her, do you have a $100 bill on you? She says no. And he says, check your bra. And poof, out comes a $100 bill that smells like small titties. And he even makes a bunny pop out of nowhere, like it's nothing. And her panties are tripping.
Yeah, and she's like, please, can you make your dick disappear inside me? But she's really getting to that point. I think she even says something about that. Like, she's like, I'm gonna fuck this guy.
Yeah, magicians make her horny, apparently.
It's gross. This woman's trash. So she has bad judgment. I wouldn't do it, but hey, David Copperfield magic, she's into it. And then we cut back to Dave's office, and Dave's just sort of trying to figure out this decision he has to make. And then walks Joe Rogan, and not the bald, giant thumb looking yoked Joe Rogan that we all know and love. This is the sexy, flexy Italian stallion fucking Joe Rogan that
straight from Jersey.
I mean, and I gotta say, I've heard Joe Rogan talk about this. He got this show because I think what's the guy's name? Everybody Loves Raymond. It was supposed to be that guy.
Robert Garrett?
No, the main guy. I forget it. I can't remember.
Oh, Ray Romano?
Ray Romano. And Ray Romano did the table read and then lost the job to Joe Rogan. They gave it to him, and Joe Rogan never acted. He was just some like budding comedian, and he got this. And this was like his key. He got rich off this and then went to fucking Fear Factor and to what he is now. But in this show, he's a maintenance man. And he's just sort of, he's not supposed to know anything about radio other than how to fix the shit.
That's not his lane. Yeah.
And he fixes Dave's desk, but it's like he just duct tapes a fucking table leg, and he's like, don't put anything on it. Don't touch it. And then the shit collapses. And so he ain't good at that.
Yeah. I mean, basically when Bill comes in, that's when it collapses. Now Dave suggests Lisa sub in for Catherine. Bill suggests that he should do it. So while they're deliberating on who should be Catherine's replacement, Joe's already doing it. He's on the job, and he already sounds like a natural.
I mean, he's killing it. I mean, basically the job is to read the news. So you get a piece of paper and you're just like, today's news, Bill Clinton got his dick sucked. And it's just, but he's got a good on-air voice. And basically Bill would pick the weakest link, because he was like, I don't want anybody good to fill in on this. So I'm just going to pick this fucking chud. And that way I don't get outshined. But it seems like Joe Rogan, this motherfucker knows how to rock a mic,
as we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, this is like life imitating art. He's out there, he's giving the news, he's killing it. But Dave's like, what the fuck, dude? You just made the call, you just put this dude on air. And Bill's just like, yeah. And I love Phil Hartman. I mean, he kills it in this show. I love the character, and I love, he's just like, fuck you, dude, you might be my boss, but I made the call. You said I had decision in this. Yeah. I made the decision.
And somebody had to do it. The job's got to be done. I mean, the clock don't stop, man.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck? So Go.
As
Sorry.
as they're
Ahead.
going out, as they're heading out, Theo reappears with Beth, who at this point is enamored with him, and he pulls a pigeon out of Bill's suit pocket. Like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? And
Where'd
Bill,
the
he has
pigeon
to.
go? You're in a building. Like, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck, bro?
Matthew probably ate it. And Bill apologizes to Dave that he overstepped his boundaries. And Lisa comes in with fan mail requesting more Joe. They want more Joe. The world wants more Joe. Bill also admits that he chose Joe because he didn't want a co-host who could possibly outshine him. Now, Dave's not going to change hosts 3 times in a day to appease his ego. So he's rolling with Joe.
And he says he's like, I don't want to do it because I don't want to look like a fool, but the dude's good. Like the dude's got skill. So I'm not gonna pull somebody that's killing it. And then Theo
Bill throws some curveballs.
and then Joe takes a break, just comes out of the booth. He sees Matthew trying to fix his computer, and Andy's he's just in his feelings. He's like, well, if you can do my job, I can fucking do your job. And Joe's like, and this is where I was like, the terminology, he's like, don't you know there's capacitors in this thing? And then like Andy Dick almost electrocutes himself or whatever. And clearly Andy Dick is not meant to fix computers. But Joe just laughs. And again, he's sort of getting the upper hand. I think everybody thinks he's this dumbass. And he's just walking around like, I'm fucking better than all you motherfuckers. I can fix this shit and kill this shit. So see me.
And do 11 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah.
Now, when they go back on air, Bill starts throwing them curveballs and tongue twisters. And he's like, what was it? 6 sheep? And it's like, dude, it sounds like he's just fucking up on air. And basically, Bill tells him, like, dude, your broadcasting days are over. No, they're not.
Yeah, right. He's like,
totally
I'll
not.
be back. But Joe at that point's like, okay, fuck it. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. Because he knows what we know now.
Yeah, he's like, okay. And Bill's kind of like mystified by that. You know, he's like, wait, isn't this your dream? I wanted to live this life my whole life. You got in one day and you're out and you're cool with it. And Joe's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm about to be a billionaire in fucking 20 years. Fuck you.
Too bad you're not going to stick around to see it.
Yeah, that is sad. Rest in peace, Phil Hartman. We love you. Fuck your bitch ass wife.
Yeah, forever. You know, Catherine comes in and it looks like she's not sick anymore, at least. And she steps into the booth, and before they go into air, she starts coughing, pulling out her medicine, lozenges, and things of that nature. And Beth is also fed up with Theo. She sees through the ruse, and as a last-ditch effort, he pulls some more tricks out of his sleeve, literally, to win her back as he goes down the elevator. But as Jimmy and Beth walk into the office, Jimmy's already in the office, despite being on the elevator. Once again, tries to impress Beth, but she's actually worried about her safety now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, are you gonna stop like magic stalk me? Is this how like all the exes of David Copperfield, they just live in fear? That he's like, hey,
yeah,
you still love me?
Think
and
about
it's
it,
real
man.
pathetic because he shows up and he's like, wait, we made out. You said, here, let me give you this scarf. It's not stopping. It's never ending, just like my love. And she's not having it because basically the reason that she lost the juices in her puss, Steve, is she asked Theo to tell her the secret of the magic trick. And he revealed all the secrets. And she's like, wait, this was an illusion the whole time? I mean, bitch,
Yeah.
Simple bitch. Like, what are you thinking here?
And, you know, he fucked up by showing her like the part of the whole thing, man. Like, you keep that to yourself. He showed her the whole illusion.
I mean, nobody gives a fuck about magic. Like, remember when they had those shows on Fox where they're like, the truth, we reveal the truth of the magic tricks. It's like, who gives a fuck? Oh, it's
Never
fake.
watched
Oh
those.
my God. Like, okay. But Theo's, you know, he's destroyed. Catherine came back. Catherine, we only see once, and it's when she comes back. She's a black chick. I don't remember her real. I think her name's Catherine something.
Candy Alexander, another crush of mine. She's just hot. Has that, and she's a much older woman. She is in her 60s, probably mid 60s.
She looks so good in that picture.
Yeah. She was crushing in the 90s. She was in House Party 3. She was in News Radio. She was in a lot of shit.
So, Joe's out. Catherine came back because she was like, Joe's too good. Like, I didn't want to lose my fucking job. So I had to pick my sick ass up and come in here and give everybody COVID. And that's really it. Like, Theo loses some puss. Joe Rogan loses a job in radio, but we'll get that back and then some in a few decades. And I gotta say, Steve, news radio, this was sort of, it was a syndicated show at some point, but I never hated this show. I always remembered liking it. I like Phil Hartman. I liked Andy Dick at the time, not so much now, but
David Foley.
Yeah, Dave Foley. And one thing I always thought was interesting about this is that, sitcom writing, you have to write on the fly. And one thing that Joe Rogan always talked about was that Dave Foley was basically like a secret producer on the show, because they would have these scripts and he'd say they really kind of sucked. And Dave Foley would just take them, and as they're shooting the show on a daily basis, just rewrite the script on the fly and come up with most of the jokes you see that show up. Like, because the guy's a fucking comedic genius. So shout out to Dave Foley.
He's an improv veteran too.
Yeah, Kids in the Hall is legit. I used to love watching that on Comedy Central all the time. Everybody in that sort of become famous in one way or another. And the guy's a fucking beast.
Introducing Doritos Pizza Cravers with great Pizza Hut flavor. Do we get cable?
Now, that following year, 97, Married with Children is in their final season, season 11, and they're airing a live nude Peg. Peggy poses as a stripper in the Jiggly Room's talent search to trick Al and wins. She has to keep her identity a secret because Al loves Peggy's stripper persona more than herself. Bud forces Kelly to gain weight for a weight loss commercial, which all goes to her behind.
Mm-hmm.
11 seasons.
We were talking about it, Steve, like I have a note sheet, right? That's crazy. How much does that fucking thing weigh? Is that like a fucking brick?
Dude, 262 episodes of a half-hour program. I think you could read the Bible front to back before you finished all of this.
When I was writing my note sheet down, I was like, well, of course news radio comes after Married with Children. No, I didn't realize this went to 97. I wasn't watching 90s. TV like that. And, I still like the show, but I was surprised at that. But this episode, Steve, it's everything I love about Married with Children. And it doesn't disappoint at all. Right from the beginning, we're in a strip club and they're just doing they're doing limbo with strippers. This is like no experience I hate strip clubs. And this was unlike anything I've ever experienced, Steve.
Yeah, man. I like the name Jiggly Room. And, Al and the No Ma'am crew, they're all at the Jiggly Room and, playing some blonde bimbo limbo. And Iqbal, yes, that's his name, Iqbal. So he tells the guys that the Jiggly Room is having an amateur night contest. And I think that's
the judges.
Yeah. And everyone's jeans jumped.
What is the name of the group that like the He-Man Woman Haters Club?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Okay, that's what it was. They got the fucking uniform and everything, Steve. They got the shirt.
Yeah, my buddy Mo P, shout out Mo P, GLC. He actually had one of those shirts.
We gotta make those, Steve. We gotta market that somehow. We gotta get our own No Ma'am shirts and just rock those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And I think that's when they do the credits. Come back and Bud and Kelly enter the house and they're talking about Kelly possibly playing the before girl in a diet commercial, and she has to gain 30 pounds in 1 week.
And he's like, hey, a lot of famous actors do this. All the greats do this. You remember Free Willy? He used to be Flipper. And she's like, oh my God. So he Bud's a scumbag, dude. Bud was he was gonna produce porno. Like, I don't know where this guy's life went after the show ended. And he, but this character is he's a slick talker, even if he is like a short man, he's got that short man complex, but he can talk some motherfuckers into some shit.
He has to. I mean, there's no positive energy around him. His sister's a dumb bimbo. His mom is worthless and always horny. And his dad is a shoe salesman who reminisces about 4 touchdowns in a single game.
And then as they're arguing about that, Peg comes down the stairs in her New Jersey's finest outfit, and she's just horny as shit. Which I love. I mean, it turns me on. I would love this. This is the thing I don't understand about the show. If I'm Al, I'm at home dick deep in Peg at all times. I come home from the shoe store just straight, blowing backs out on a daily basis, but he couldn't be bothered. She even brought the pork rinds out.
She brought the pork rinds out. She's even got her cabana lady fucking get up on.
Marcy brought over some Kenny G just to, set the mood with that little smooth jazz sax or whatever the fuck he plays.
She got the box wine out.
I mean, I would love it. Call me, Peg. If I was single, call me up. I'll rip that fucking animal print shit off you immediately.
But Al's got no time to do the waka waka right now with Peg. He says he needs to judge at the Jiggly Room, and Peggy just down.
I mean, the balls on Al though. He's like, you want to fuck? No, I gotta go judge the future Hooters of America, bitch. So you can just cool your jets. I'm going to the strip club. And what guy does this? You tell a lie. You say I'm going out with the boys to play some poker. You don't go, I'm going to judge a stripping competition. Fuck the bullshit.
Well,
that's Al Bundy. That is what it is.
Maybe that's why they've been together this long, man, because they have an honest relationship. They know what it is. He doesn't hide anything. He's like, hey, I'm about to go see some tits, some new titties.
And Peg just tells Marcy's there too. And she's like, it's just been so long since somebody touched me. And again, it's like, damn, Peg, call me and Marcy. Steve up. We'll take you to we'll do a little Eiffel Tower action here.
But good old Marcy, she's there to console her in her blue jeans. And Peggy devises a scheme to perform at the Jiggly Room as a dancer herself.
And she's going to prove she's sluttier than all those sluts down there. And I love that. That's a great energy to come in with, Peg. We love this.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's really kind of figured it out immediately. She's like, okay, I got a strip. How can they not know it's me? So I'm going to go as Jasmine. I'm going to be Aladdin's Jasmine and come in with this Persian Nights, Arabian Nights shit and just fucking rock this. And she does. But she doesn't have a lot of good competition, Steve. This amateur night is some shit. This is like, it's a Monday at a strip club. And this is probably what we would see at a Toledo strip club, at a Deja Vu.
Yeah.
Chesty LaRue comes out. Chesty LaRue comes out with that walker. One low ass titty hanging out of her blouse and her fucking her dentures coming out of her fucking mouth.
Yeah, falling into people's beer. And another chick comes out and she taps dance with her titties. And now that was impressive. Fucking 10. She should have got off 10s. No, I've never seen somebody tap dance on their titties. That's a fucking talent.
That's America's Next, whatever it's called. I Got Talent or America's Got Talent. Put this bitch on it. She didn't take anything off, which is like, to me, I'm sitting here saying, what kind of strip competition is this? Because we're at a strip club. I need to see at least a nipple, guys. Pull a nip out, something. At least let it slip out. But no, Chesty LaRue's just collecting an AARP check and trying to fucking get some young dick, I guess.
Yeah, man, she used to dance for FDR.
I had sex with Charlie Chaplin. Was it silent?
Oh.
Not when I was done with him.
Oh. Still.
Hey, it's
credit.
gold. It's solid gold, Steve. And what else is solid gold is Jasmine, because Jasmine wins. And Jasmine also not only wins this money, she wins Al's heart. Al is like, this is it. This is like, I'm in love. He can't get enough. He can't get enough so much that he rushes out of this motherfucker and is like, I gotta fuck my wife, which is kind of like it's honest. Like, he's a good husband.
Exactly. Can learn some things from the Bundys, man. And Peggy sees this and she has to beat Al back home because she doesn't want him to know that she's Jasmine. And as we go back to the Bundy household, Kelly has gained only 4 pounds, and Bud is feeding her drum legs, fried pork chops, and squeezed cheese. While that's going on, and Peg and Al hustle upstairs to the bedroom, and Marcy. Oh well, I'm going too fast forward. He knocks it out the park and breaks the walls down, like Chris Jericho would say, and like Ice Cube would say, "Put her ass to sleep."
I mean, he broke the bed. He blew her back out. They don't even talk. Like she's there, and she's like, "Oh hey," and he's like, "Peg, shut up. Enough. I'm horny. Let's bang." And she's all about it. So it's just there you go. Just stepping in wet mud, just all night. And then Peg and fucking Kelly have to listen to it, but Bud's just too busy jamming Crisco down his sister's throat to even notice, I guess.
Yeah,
and
deep fried gruel.
Yeah, it was very, very weird energy there. But they wake up the next day, and Peg kind of tells Marcy about it. Marcy's trying to be like the women's lib person. She's like, he's falling for another woman. Like, you didn't tell him. And she's like, I didn't have time. The guy threw his dick in my mouth, and I didn't have time to tell him. I'm sorry. And to be honest, I don't care because I got that good dick last night.
Yeah, which is rare for her. And Marcy's going on about, you set the women's movement back, and blah, blah, blah. Really, Marcy, you're just mad because she can't be your scissor sister. That's what it really is.
Yeah,
Scissor
Mr.
sister.
Darcy, he's probably wanted to do that too. He's gonna hit it, but whatever.
Has.
Marcy's always a downer, and she's continuing to do that. And so we cut, and I feel like basically it's the same situation. Peg keeps going to the strip club and performing as Jasmine. And so she comes back, she rushes in, and she's like hiding her shit. Al comes in, he's like, Peg, shut up. Let's bang.
But this time Al actually beats her back to the bedroom.
Okay,
he makes it back. And so she has to think, she has to be on her toes, like, oh fuck, what do I do? So like when he goes into the bathroom, she scrambles in, starts throwing her whole costume underneath the bed, but she forgets the veil on top of the bed. And by the time she realizes it, Al comes out the bathroom. He sees the veil. She knows about the veil, but she doesn't know that he's thinking it probably dropped out of his pocket.
Yeah, so they're both like feeling guilt. They're like, I gotta hide this. They both are. So like they're trying to figure it out. I think they try to like cover it up with covers, and then eventually they just turn the lights off and they start banging. But in the throat,
he did that thing she liked.
Yeah, which
I think Al eats her ass.
That's what I was gonna say. Like from the direction he went, I was like, did this motherfucker just go down and eat the booty? Because I'm cool with that. But I mean, that's a strong move just to go right to the booty.
He's a pioneer. And once again, you could learn from the Bundys. When women say they don't like getting their ass ate, they're fucking lying to you, or they just never had it done. Because Peg Bundy likes that shit.
It's a hobo espresso, Steve. A tongue in the ass. I mean, it's just like the moment I wake up. That's just why I'm with you. I'm in the ass eater. I'm not even anonymous. I've tried to talk my wife into it. She's not having it. And because she hasn't. And I got to admit, like a long time ago, when I was young and naive, Steve, and somebody would have told me they put their tongue in somebody's ass, I would have said, you know what? That's gross. That's disgusting.
You can't share blunts.
But the first time it happened and I went too low and I did it and I saw the reaction, I was forever changed. And it's not that bad unless you're fucking with some animal that's just not cleaning themselves. And then, don't do it. But use your judgment, people. And
it's a performance-based activity.
There you go. And it's all in the moment. Al uses his powers of ass eating. They turn the lights off, start getting to it. And in the throes of passion, she's like, oh, Al. And he's like, Peg, Jasmine. And then he says Jasmine. And that's where the fun stops a little bit, Steve.
Somewhat.
Not for because Al, but, Peg I think that kind of pisses off Peg a little bit. Yeah. It's her fault too, but I think she tells Marcy, but I don't even know if she tells her, but this is something that Marcy's been alluding to, and it just hits her right in the face. So,
she does tell her
it's got to be done.
Yeah, they talk about it, and she's basically like, this Jasmine character, I have to end this. So the next amateur night at the Jiggly Room, she shows up and she's giving Al a dance. And I can't believe Al can't recognize his wife's voice of I don't know how many years. but he's sitting on the chair and she's behind him, and she's like, I'm gonna take it off. He's thinking she's taking off her clothes. She takes off her mask, and all the guys see this, and Al's just like, so what do you think, guys? And they're just kind of like, oh man, you might want to turn around.
I mean, yeah, and so but we skipped over a very funny scene, Steve, because before they go to the strip club, Kelly shows up and is pissed at Bud. She's pissed at Bud because he's made her gain all this weight, but unfortunately, the weight hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't gone to the titties. It hasn't gone to the midsection. It's gone. She's gotten that Brazilian butt lift, Steve. All the Crisco went straight to the ass, and she's turned into the chick the girls at the beginning of that Sir Mix-a-Lot song are talking about, because she's just got a fucking end table ass. And
she started the episode looking like the girls that were talking.
Yeah. Oh my God. She does look like one of those rap guys' girlfriends, Steve, because she's got that straight Nicki Minaj ass where, again, this is like life imitating art. If Kelly Bundy, as we saw her in this scene, existed now, she'd be making trillions on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? This is what everybody wants at this point. She's Kim Kardashian. Which
I don't understand. There's a max to that,
I mean, I love me a big ass. Don't get me wrong, but the shit where it's like clearly I saw one where it was like, it looked like a bitch put like 2 honey baked hams and they just like stretched the skin as tight as possible on it.
Yeah.
It gets too much. But I mean, even then, I mean, if it was presented to me and I was single, I'm not going to fucking refuse. I mean, who am I?
And definitely not eating. I got to be selective about that though.
I am a man with a big ass, so I feel Kelly's pain though, because I do have like it's kind of like bizarrely
is that bad?
It's just a big guy ass. Like, it's not bad. It's out there. You're
not squatting enough or squatting too much.
I'm squatting too much, Steve. And when I lost the weight, unfortunately, I had, a fat guy has powerful legs, a powerful lower body because he's carrying around all that weight. And I just had a voluptuous man ass. What can I say? I mean,
Matthew McStoney butt.
So, Kelly's pissed. She even tries to chase Bud around the living room, but she can't even move. It's just comical because that ass is just,
her wagon is dragging.
And back at the strip club, Steve, we've already said it. Peg she's taken her mask off. She's done the strip tease. And one other thing I got to say is Al, the balls on this man. He stole all the money she's been making off stripping. He said, I found all this money Peg's been hiding away. I don't know where it came from. Well, it's been coming from these $300 a night strip sessions. And she does this. He looks around and he realizes that his dream girl is actually his wife. And what does he do? He doesn't embrace her. He tries to run for the hills.
Yeah,
it's his nightmare.
His dreams have been crushed. They've turned into nightmares, man. And I gotta say, Matt, I enjoyed the episode. I appreciated the episode, but I thought Peggy had more titty and more ass. Maybe in those Spanx, maybe they were butt pads. I don't know. But just like Theo, some things are just best left to the imagination.
Well, you know what's strange about her? What's her name in real life? I forget what.
Katie Seagal.
Katie Seagal is one of the few white women that I feel has almost aged like wine and not aged like a banana in the sun. She's actually looks she's on Roseanne now. Yeah. And she looks fucking, I mean, I'd throw it at her if I could.
She can still get tossed up, but she is a member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but still, I don't mind that. I don't mind a small titty as long as it's a nice titty, unless she's got like a baloney nip or something covering.
It's presentation is everything. She has a seductive voice, an alluring aura about herself.
But I mean, the way that, like, to me, like, if I'm Al, like, I'm putting myself in Al's position. If I go to a strip club and I see Peg as Jasmine, I'd be like, bitch. Like, that mole, my wife has a mole. Like, there's got to be some way that, like, how fucking dim are you, Al?
That mall kiosk perfume, that smells familiar. Oh, man. What? I know I've smelled this before.
Yeah. Oh wow. I think I've seen that weird fucking Jasmine outfit under my bed, but whatever.
Yeah, those
Whatever.
titties smell familiar too.
I mean, this is
Now,
just to me like this is a lesson they should take with them and move forward with. Because I mean, as Al, I would just be like, just do a fucking nice like dress up session. Just like we'll role play for the rest of our lives, and I'll just fucking keep blowing your back out every night.
yeah, just put on the veil. It's still at the house on the bed. Somebody who probably didn't watch this episode of Married with Children was Sarah Michelle Gellar, because she was probably watching the serious premiere of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 1997, March 10th on WB.
Hated it.
Yeah,
I was never
that
a
happened.
fan.
I was
didn't like
never
it.
a fan. I don't care about vampire shit, zombie shit, but I do like me some Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I'll fucks with the Sarah Michelle Gellar, but this Buffy thing, it blew up. And I
It
never
blew up.
enjoyed it. And this is why I began like there's a lot of reasons I didn't really like WB too much or CW or whatever the fuck it was called, but this show, it baffles me that it got so big.
It had spinoffs. It's got a cult following. I'm sure it has a presence at the Comic Cons or the Dragon Con, all of them type of nerdy fucking things. It doesn't hurt that the main protagonist is really hot.
But
she had that look. Yeah, the show can really blow me. Now, 1999 or 1998, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place debuts on ABC, and I did watch that. It starred a young Ryan Reynolds before Deathpool, way before Deathpool.
Deadpool, Steve. Let's not piss off
Deadpool.
the comic nerds.
Sorry. Yeah, man, the comic nerds annoy me. We can have that conversation. Because when I first moved to Houston, a lot of my coworkers were comic book nerds, and I was one of the few wrestling nerds. And for some fucking reason, it became us or that, them, this or that. Us against like.
Okay,
just because
I mean, I don't
exactly
I don't like the fanaticals. I like comic books when I was a little kid. I think we all watched like the X-Men cartoon and shit, and that's sort of it wasn't my entry into it, but we all enjoyed an aspect of it. I don't like people that will like
impose their shit.
Exactly. But I feel like wrestling and comic book nerds, I feel like that's like you guys should be on the same team almost.
You would think, because I mean, I get it. Like with the shit that I watch, the wrestling, the results are predicted, but my guys are real. They're not drawn. I mean,
and they look like comic book heroes, like the guys you worship. I mean, Chris Jericho, like shout out. First of all, also shout out to Chris Jericho, because I have just now started to notice AEW wrestling. And I got to say, I feel like this guy should be maybe top 3 of wrestling, just because he's been like through it all. Like he's made it through everything, and he's still like the guy looks fucking great.
Still crushing it.
He's killing it.
Still crushing it, man. But yeah, Two Guys, a Girl, and the Pizza Place, that was aired right after Drew Carey.
It happened. I mean, it had Ryan Reynolds in it. Has Ryan Reynolds ever not acted like he did in the show? Like to me, Deadpool, everything. It's just like him mugging and like doing asides to the camera or making like flippant jokes. Yeah, I love the
movie. What was the movie he did with Samuel Jackson? That was more serious.
The Hitman's Bodyguard,
something like that. Yeah.
He was doing that shit too in that though. He was, it was still like, the same shit.
Yeah. Smart alecky. Yeah.
I love me some Deadpool though. I do, but he was made to do that, and I enjoy that. I love that shit. So I'm a comic book nerd, Steve. I'm just not fanatical about it. You can, it is what it is.
Don't beat me up about it. Now, somebody who probably didn't watch Two Guys, a Girl, and the Pizza Place in 1998. Eric Watts, Lloyd Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges,
brother of Bo Bridges.
That's the father of Bo Bridges. American actor and director, born 1913. He died of natural causes at the age of 85 in Los Angeles.
Lloyd. Yeah. Well, I like me some Bridges. I like Jeff. I like Bo.
And he died actually just 4 days after The Big Lebowski premiered in theaters in 1998.
Damn, I wonder if he saw it. Dude, do you like that movie, Steve? It's like a movie. It's hit or miss if people like that shit.
I liked it. I see why it has a cult following.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to cover it in Over the Culture this Sunday because it premiered on March 6th, 1998.
That's what happens when you fuck a guy in the ass.
Yeah.
I feel like that movie is good because of John Goodman, though. If John Goodman wasn't in that movie, I don't know if I'd like it as much. His character, and especially his interactions with Donnie, when he's like, shut the fuck up, Donnie. When they're in the theater and trying not to be loud, and he has to like quiet himself to cuss out Donnie, the character played by Steve Buscemi.
You're the in and out burger.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
It's magic.
Well, I mean, the Big Lebowski, the dude himself, he's kind of a pop cultural icon because, as we're seeing now, you have a lot of these new millennials who go to the festivals and they dress like the dude. I mean, they
have a festival just for that. It's called Dude Fest or Lebowski Fest or some shit. But
exactly. And who were the character that Flea played?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, where's the money, Lebowski? Him and that creepy guy that's in everything too. The Russian dude. I don't know what his fucking name is, but
yeah. All of this streamlined from Lloyd Bridges, who passed away on March 10th, 1998. R.I.P. Now, between the two shows we covered, Married with Children and the news radio episode, who do you think won?
Spicy level, I'm just going with Married with Children. It was just from beginning to end, it was all good. So I gotta, even though I love news radio, I love Joe Rogan, Dave Foley, and cast, I gotta give it to Married with Children.
Yeah, because you saw some peg skin.
Candy.
Now, any callbacks, honorable mentions, takeaways, young Matthew?
I want to honorable mention you for recommending Bel Air, because I was wrong, everyone. If you heard me, I doubted it. I doubted Steve's saying it was good when he told me, and I'm watching it, and I am enthralled with the show. You didn't have to even have it. It doesn't even need to be connected to Fresh Prince. It's kind of interesting that it is. It doesn't matter. It's just a good ass show. And if there's not an episode where we see Jeffrey just straight shooting people in Jamaica, just Shada's style, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed, but I love the show. I don't
Jeffrey's, he's probably my favorite character on the show.
Yeah. I like them all. I like Uncle Phil. The only person I don't like is Carlton's junky ass, sweating like hurt and snorting blow in his fucking, or whatever he's snorting. He's saying it's not blow, but
Adderall.
We've seen that.
Carnicone. That's what he's sniffing. Sniffing that Carnicone.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you, Steve, for making me even think about watching it. And I have, to everybody involved in that shit, you have made me a believer and you're killing it. So shout out. What about you, Steve?
I'll be trying.
Isn't that a good feeling though, when you recommend something and then somebody's like, this is the best shit ever? It's like it makes you feel good. It's validating.
Well, if you're a big enough fan of something and they do a reboot, it's like immediately your hairs are raised, because it's like, why? Don't touch that shit. It's already perfect. But because you're such a big fan, it's like, man, okay, I'll hear this out. I'll give it an episode. Same thing I did with Saved by the Bell. Such a huge fanatical Saved by the Bell fan. It's like, okay, they brought it back. The gang, their parents now, whatever. It sucked. With this one, like just the first episode, I wanted to watch more.
I mean, it just gets you. Like everything that, even just seeing like the mansion and like all the crazy rich shit that's going, everything about it is it's fucking enthralling to watch. It's maybe not the best show ever, but man, especially like Peacock, that's the best shit you've ever come up with that's an original program. So keep it up. I'll keep watching that shit.
Now, on 1997, WCW Nitro, one of the matches that I've been trying to look for features a guy named Hardbody Harrison. And Hardbody Harrison was, he's basically arrested. He was arrested and he's serving life. He's serving life for forced labor, human trafficking, sex trafficking, witness tampering, criminal conspiracy, and obstruction of justice.
God, hard body hair. Who the fuck is this? Is this Scarface? What the fuck's going on here?
If my goddamn Google search will give me the page that I prefer, I could. Okay.
I don't remember this guy. I don't remember this name, but the motherfucker was doing some straight up dirt. So,
okay. So in this Nitro, he had a match against Kevin Sullivan, which ended in a double count out. It was a blowaway match. The whole thing ended in 2 minutes. But Hardbody Harrison, and this actually happened down here in Atlanta. In 2005, FBI agents served a search warrant and raided into Harrison's 2 homes in Bartow County, Georgia. That October, he was arrested on a 9-count federal indictment for false imprisonment and trafficking women for commercial sex acts. And then 2007, he was found guilty and convicted by a federal jury in Atlanta, Georgia, on charges related to keeping 8 women as sex slaves.
God damn, hard body. What the fuck, bro?
Yeah. It's fucking crazy, man. He's actually from Kennesaw.
No, don't fuck around. I mean, he's dead now. He's in jail. He's just
he's in jail, and he'll be in jail, life imprisonment, man. But 1998, Third Rock from the Sun is airing the episode Dick's Big Giant Headache Part 2, and the cameos. Jan Hooks, who has a recurring role on here, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, Larissa Olnick from fucking Alex Mack, and William Shatner, Captain Kirk.
Damn. It's 90s All-Star Day.
For real, man.
I
now,
like that.
Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and like us on Facebook. We got a Facebook page. You'll see our little South Park animated style avatars. It's this.
Facebook, we're here, guys. Instagram. Hit us up. Talk to us. Say something.
And you know what? Like, share, and subscribe too. Check out Over the Culture on Sunday with me, Crushgasm with Kendra on Wednesdays, B3F Podcast with Joey and Steven, Don't Worry, Be Movies with Amanda and Wade, Pop Culture Hootenanny. I can't remember his name. Yeah, it's a lot, man. I got to figure out a better way to do that. But yeah, this is Steve G and Matt G with Having in the 90s.
Bitch.